Nothing says capital G gamer like spouting out a bunch of unintelligible nonsense. And what better way to do that than by knowing all the associated vocabulary for your favorite game? In today's episode, we're going to go over a bunch of common terms and phrases you will hear people use in the Nobel Prize winning card game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of these will be official terms, licensed by John Konami himself, whereas some of these will be community-driven slang, unfiltered, and royalty-free. If you see any mistakes or have anything to add, leave them in the comments below. Now, let's talk about our first term, which is to subscribe. Subscribing is when you win $1 bajillion for clicking the button that's down. COG. COG is the acronym for King of Games, which is the highest rank you can attain in the Wild West of Duel Links ranked PvP. It can be used both as a noun and a verb. For example, I hit COG this month, or you could say, I COG'd with this deck. Master Duel doesn't have King of Games, it instead has Master 1. And despite my frequent attempt to get people to pronounce it Mo1, it has yet to catch on. Pop, bounce, and banish. Just like most card games that have mechanics, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a number of ways that you can get rid of your opponent's cards, which is like kind of a big part of the whole game. And likewise, there's a number of nicknames for each of these methods. To pop a card is usually shorthand for destroying a card. For example, stick and chair combo, XCs into Delta Airlines, and pop a card. Sometimes you will hear it being used for any method of getting rid of a card. For example, play Cosmic Cyclone, pop a trap card has definitely been said before, even though it banishes. Bouncing a card is anytime you return a card back from whence it came. Usually the hand, but you can also specify the deck. For example, you could say flip Compulse and bounce this monster, which would mean sending it back to the hand, or you could say activate Tiramisu, bounce this monster back to the deck. They also say spin for the deck. And instead of saying banish, we say, yeah, I don't think banish has a special term. Banish is just banish. Why is this one special? I have no idea. Maybe you guys know. Floating effects. Floating effects are how people describe effects that take effect after a card has left the field. 99.9% of the time, it's cards that are destroyed and sent to the graveyard. For example, Unchained Salamatbo special summons another Unchained when it's destroyed. If a floating effect summons another monster, you can say it floats into that monster, like Neos Gluger floats into Neos Wiseman. Why do we use the word float? Is it because the effects linger in the air? Or is it the spirit of the dead monster flipping you off as it floats off into the afterlife? Nobody knows. Maybe you know. To open. To open is to get a card in your opening hand. For example, you want to open at least a few of your combo pieces and usually some form of disruption. Cards that you need in your opening hand are called your openers, and if you aren't opening them, you might as well close your game. Garnets. The opposite of openers are called garnets. Kind of like your weird uncle, these are cards that you never want to see in your opening hand because they can either be searched consistently or are required to be in the deck to activate an effect. They're called garnets because the original garnet was literally named Gem Knight Garnet, and all other garnets have been pale imitations. The out. The out is the word most players use to describe any card or combo of cards that directly counters a field or strategy. For example, Book of Eclipse is the out to any untargetable monster, a Kaiju is the out to any unaffected monster, Raw 4/3 Pyar Cubed mode is the out to the current meta, and 3 Evenlies will out almost anything. You will often hear the phrase online, just open the out, which is a sarcastic joke about how your inability to deal with a problematic strategy is about not being able to draw the right cards. This joke is sometimes said 100% seriously. Top decking. Top decking is when a player channels their inner Yugi and draws the exact card needed to win a specific situation, which is usually the out. It's also occasionally used to describe when a player rearranges the cards on the top of their deck, like how they would using Dark Magical Circle, but these days has come to mostly mean channeling your inner anime bullshit. Sacked. Getting sacked is when someone either opens or top decks the out on you, and is usually used to describe losing because of bad luck. If you want to hear it being used, just go watch any Twitch streamer trying to hit COG or Master 1. Mill. Milling is when you send cards from the top of your deck to your grave. I've always wondered where this term comes from, and to nobody's surprise, it comes from Magic the Gathering, specifically the card Millstone. This is also a good time to mention that bounce and I think many other terms are also from Magic. Bricking. Bricking is when you have an unplayable opening hand, either because you opened all your garnets or just none of your combo pieces. For example, okay, I bricked. New game.
Stop being such a baby. Come on, let's just play it.
Bricks, new game!
Now, I don't know if it's called bricking because trying to play with it is like trying to drive through a brick wall, or if it's because your hand is so rock solidly unplayable that it would be better spent as construction material. Maybe you guys know. Back row. Your back row is the row on the field that you put all of your spell, trap, and, well, I guess your pendulum cards if you're a hardcore Arc 5 fan or if you're just a meme FTK player. It is called the back row because it is quite literally the back row of your 2 rows, which means the front row is called... That's right. It doesn't have a nickname. No, it's not called the front row. I think it's technically called the monster zone, but nobody ever calls it that because there's never any need to refer to it. Yellow button deck. This is a Duel Links specific derogatory term to refer to any deck that almost completely relies on its skill. While almost every deck in Duel Links uses skills, this term has historically been used for decks that let any old monkey slap this yellow button on the side of the screen here and let the deck do the exact same thing every game. Does your skill do 3 or more things, including a consistency section? Yellow button deck. Is the vagabond having a minor aneurysm trying to play it? Yellow button deck. Are heroes meta? Yellow button deck. But don't be too mean to your yellow button friends because these days, we're all yellow button decks. Welcome to Duel Links. And that's all the vocabulary for this episode. How many did you know? If you've been playing this game for a while, then probably all of them, which makes you a capital G gamer. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any more to add, or if you want to tell me where the origins of some of these are from, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.